Welcome to The Explainer. We've got a real puzzle for you today. In a world of AI, of digital currencies, why is this ancient, shiny metal suddenly hitting all-time highs? Okay, so let's start with something you might find, well, a little shocking. Over the last quarter century, something really, really old has been quietly outperforming some of the most innovative companies on the planet. Yep, you guessed it, it's gold. I mean, think about it. If you'd put $100 into the world's top companies 25 years ago, you'd have, around $700 today? That's not bad, right? But if you'd put that same $100 into gold, you'd actually have more. So what is going on here? To figure out why it's so valuable now, we've got to go way, way back to understand why we humans fell in love with it in the first place. You see, the answer isn't really in some complicated economic textbook. Nope. It's deep inside our own DNA. Turns out, we're just hardwired to be drawn to one very specific thing. It's the shine. Seriously, that's it. Just picture this. You're one of our earliest ancestors. Your entire survival depends on finding one thing: water. And what's the best sign of water from far away? That glint, right? The sparkle of sunlight hitting its surface. That attraction, that pull towards anything that glitters, got baked right into our subconscious. It's a survival instinct we've basically never shaken. Okay, but let's be real. A primal attraction to shiny things isn't enough to build the entire global financial system on, right? For that, an element needs to be, well, chemically perfect for the job. So, how in the world did we land on gold out of everything on the periodic table? Well, it wasn't an accident. Humanity didn't just stumble upon it. It was this epic, millennia-long process of elimination. We basically sifted through all 118 known elements to find the absolute perfect one for the job of being money. All right, let's play this out. First, you can get rid of all the gases. I mean, you can't make a coin out of oxygen, right? Then you toss out the super reactive metals. You know, the ones that literally burst into flames on contact with water. No thank you. The radioactive ones? Obviously a no-go. So with what's left, you find that most are either way too common, like iron, which also rusts, big problem, or they are so mind-bogglingly rare, they only exist in a lab for a split second, totally useless for trade. So after all that, we're left with just a small group of finalists, the precious metals. And for centuries, silver was a huge contender. But it's got a fatal flaw. It tarnishes. It gets dull. Platinum? It's awesome, but its melting point is so high, ancient civilizations just couldn't work with it. But gold hit that perfect sweet spot. It's stable, it's rare, it's beautiful, and you can actually melt it down and shape it. It was basically the perfect raw material for building a global economy. And that special combo of being rare and super stable, it didn't just make gold valuable. It's what made our entire modern global economy even possible. Now, to really get a handle on gold's power, you have to understand just how incredibly rare it is. Get this. If you took every single ounce of gold ever mined in all of human history, all of it, you could fit it into one single cube just 22 meters on each side. We're talking about the height of a 7-story building. That's it. All the gold in the world, right there in one block. Okay, now what if we split that cube up? If we divided it evenly among every single person on the planet, your personal share would be just 30 grams. So what does that mean? Well, that incredible rarity, plus the fact that it's totally reliable, it never rusts, never decays, that made it the perfect bedrock for global trade. For centuries, this was the whole idea behind the gold standard. A country's money was directly linked to a specific amount of gold, and what that did was create trust. It meant countries could actually trust the value of each other's money, which is what you need for a stable global marketplace. Whenever new stashes of gold were discovered, it was like hitting the accelerator on history. These discoveries didn't just make a few people rich, they literally built the modern world. The California Gold Rush, it built San Francisco and paid for the first transcontinental railroad. When they found gold in Australia, little old Melbourne transformed into a major global city. The mines in South Africa, that's how Johannesburg was born. Okay, so that was then. What about now? Who's in charge of the gold trade today? Well, it's a super complex global network, and some of the key players might not be who you think. It's this huge tangled web, really. You've got countries like China and Russia digging up the most. Then you have huge buyers like India and Turkey who want it for everything from central bank vaults to jewelry. But here's the interesting part. The really powerful players are the hubs. These are countries that don't mine much gold themselves, but they control its flow. Think of Switzerland. It's like the world's gold refinery, purifying stuff from everywhere. And Dubai? It's become this massive, lightning-fast marketplace for trading it. But behind all this high finance trading, there are two completely different worlds of how this gold actually gets out of the ground. On one hand, you've got about 80% coming from these super high-tech industrial mines. We're talking operators in air-conditioned rooms using joysticks. But the other 20%, that's pulled from the earth in these incredibly dangerous, unregulated, artisanal mines. You have workers going down into these unstable, hand-dug tunnels, risking their lives, often for just a few bucks a day. It's a shocking contrast.
And all of this brings us right back to where we started. With all this history, all this complexity, why are prices skyrocketing right now? The answer, when you boil it all down, comes from one simple, incredibly powerful emotion: fear.
For a long, long time, the world's central banks were perfectly happy holding things like U.S. government bonds. They were seen as the safest bet on earth. But then, the 2008 financial crisis happened, and a little shift began. And then, after 2022, with global tensions rising, that little shift hit hyperdrive. Central banks started dumping their paper assets and hoarding physical metal. They're turning to gold as the world's ultimate insurance policy. And look, this isn't just some story about governments and big banks. On a deeply human level, gold means real, tangible security. I mean, think about the 2004 tsunami that devastated parts of Indonesia. Survivors lost everything. Their bank accounts were totally useless. But their family's gold jewelry, the stuff passed down for generations, that became their lifeline. It was something real they could hold, something they could use to buy food and supplies, to start rebuilding their entire lives. It's such a powerful reminder, isn't it? In our modern world of complex digital finance, of ones and zeros, when a real crisis hits, we humans still put our ultimate trust in something we can touch, something solid, something ancient, and something that brilliantly and simply shines.